Not all Capricorns walk the same path, and if you've lived long enough as a Capricorn, you already know this. Two people can share the same zodiac sign, the same ambition, the same silence, yet live completely different inner lives. One carries the weight of the world quietly. Another feels an unspoken pressure to create something meaningful. Another plans, calculates, and builds in silence, while everyone else underestimates them. This is not coincidence, and it is not personality. Capricorn is not a label, it is a life assignment. In 2026, this difference becomes impossible to ignore because Capricorn energy is no longer about surviving quietly. It is about understanding which path you are actually walking and why your birthday matters more than you think. Every Capricorn is born under the same sign, but not under the same inner mandate. Your birth date doesn't just describe how you act. It reveals how you carry responsibility, how you deal with solitude, how you approach power, and how you respond when life demands endurance instead of comfort. In this video, we will explore the 3 types of Capricorn in 2026 based on your birth date, not to categorize you, but to reveal the hidden patterns shaping your decisions, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. And by the time you reach the final type, you may realize something unsettling: you have been living one path, while another has been quietly waiting for you to step into it. Before we begin, take a moment, share your zodiac sign and your birth date in the comments. I read them because Capricorn stories often repeat themselves in silence. Now let's begin. The first type of Capricorn is often the one who becomes strong too early and pays a hidden price for it. Main Part 1. Type 1. The Silent Foundation. Birth dates: December 22nd to January 1st. This is the Capricorn who becomes strong before they ever have a chance to be young. From an early age, life seems to place weight on their shoulders, responsibility that was never asked for, expectations that arrived too soon. While others were allowed to experiment, to fail loudly, to drift, this Capricorn learned something different: endurance. They learned how to stay composed when things felt unstable, how to remain calm when others panicked, how to carry on even when no one noticed the effort. This is the first type of Capricorn in 2026, the silent foundation. These individuals often grow into the role of the reliable one without realizing it. They become the person others lean on in moments of uncertainty, not because they demand authority, but because their presence feels steady. When chaos enters the room, they instinctively become still. When pressure rises, they become grounded. But this strength comes at a hidden cost. Because when you are strong too early, you learn to suppress what feels inconvenient, doubt, fear, emotional needs. You learn that showing vulnerability slows things down, and slowing down is not an option. Over time, silence becomes a habit. Composure becomes armor. In 2026, this pattern becomes more visible. This Capricorn often feels most comfortable alone, not because they dislike people, but because solitude feels predictable. In solitude, there are no demands to explain yourself, no pressure to perform stability for others. Silence becomes a place of control. Yet beneath that calm exterior lives a quiet exhaustion. A sense that life has been about holding everything together rather than being held. This is not weakness, it is the consequence of carrying responsibility without relief. In relationships, this Capricorn is loyal beyond question. They show love through actions, not words. They protect, provide, and support, often without ever stating their own needs. But when emotional distance forms, it is rarely intentional. It is simply the result of never learning how to ask for rest. The life lesson for this Capricorn is profound. Survival is not the same as fulfillment. Endurance is powerful, but it should not erase identity. In 2026, Type 1 Capricorns are being asked to recognize something difficult. Strength does not require self-erasure. Stability does not require silence. And responsibility does not mean you must carry everything alone. If this description feels uncomfortably familiar, if you've been the strong one for as long as you can remember, pause here. Comment if this resonates with you. because acknowledging this path is the first step toward transforming it. And not all Capricorns carry weight the same way. Some feel an inner pressure, not just to endure, but to create meaning from what they carry. That brings us to the second type of Capricorn, Main Part 2. Type 2, the meaning builder. Birth dates, January 2nd to January 11th. This is the Capricorn who does not only carry weight, they feel an unrelenting need to give that weight meaning. Unlike the first type who learns endurance early, this Capricorn grows up with a quieter but more persistent inner tension. They can function within structure, they respect responsibility, and they understand discipline. Yet something inside them refuses to accept a life that is only about obligation. They sense, often without being able to explain it, that their existence must leave a mark. In 2026, this becomes impossible to ignore. This Capricorn often appears composed on the surface, but inwardly they are constantly shaping, refining, and imagining. They are driven not by chaos, but by an internal pressure to transform effort into purpose. They do not want to merely endure life, they want to shape it into something that feels intentional. This is why Type 2 Capricorns are often drawn toward building, designing, or creating something that lasts, not for recognition, not for applause, but because meaning to them is a form of survival. Without it, discipline feels empty. They often struggle in silence with a subtle fear, the fear of wasting potential. They can tolerate hardship, but they cannot tolerate the idea that their sacrifices lead nowhere. This Capricorn will work relentlessly if they believe the effort serves a deeper vision. But if life feels repetitive, hollow, or disconnected from purpose, an inner restlessness begins to grow. This is where solitude plays a different role. For Type 2, solitude is not only rest, it is a workshop, a place where ideas mature, where inner conflicts are resolved, where vision slowly takes form. Time alone is not isolation, it is alignment. In relationships, this Capricorn seeks depth without drama. They are capable of devotion, but they need to feel understood, not emotionally overwhelmed, not rushed, and never trivialized. Superficial bonds drain them. Meaningful connection restores them. The danger for this Capricorn is subtle, but real. They can begin to measure their worth solely by what they produce. They may delay joy, affection, or rest until something important is finished, unaware that meaning is not only built through effort, but also through presence. The life lesson for Type 2 Capricorn in 2026 is this: purpose gives structure its soul, but you are not your output. Creation is powerful, but it should not replace living. This year asks them to stop postponing fulfillment until the future, to recognize that meaning is not only something they create, it is also something they allow themselves to experience. If you've ever felt driven to build something that outlives you, if you've felt uneasy in a life that looks stable but feels incomplete, pause here. Pause. Comment if this has meaning for you. Because there is one more type of Capricorn one who does not seek meaning or endurance first, but mastery. This final type does not wait for life to define them, they define life itself. And that brings us to the third type of Capricorn. Main Part 3. Type 3. The Architect of Reality. Birth dates, January 12th to January 20th. This is the Capricorn who does not wait for life to reveal its meaning. They decide what matters and build everything else around it. From an early age, this Capricorn learns something crucial. The world responds to structure, not emotion. While others react, they observe. While others hesitate, they calculate. Life becomes something to be understood, mapped, and mastered. In 2026, this type of Capricorn steps fully into their defining pattern. They possess an unusually sharp inner clarity. They see systems where others see confusion. They recognize leverage points in situations most people accept as fixed. To them, reality is not chaotic. It is organized, waiting for someone disciplined enough to take control. This is why they are often drawn to positions of authority, leadership strategy, or long-term planning. Not for validation, not for status, but because inefficiency bothers them on a fundamental level. They do not believe in shortcuts. They do not rely on luck. They trust preparation, timing, and precision. Solitude plays a powerful role for this Capricorn, but for a different reason than the others. For Type 3, solitude is not rest or reflection. It is command center. In silence, they refine strategies, anticipate outcomes, and sharpen their thinking. They are often at their most dangerous and most effective when no one is watching. Noise distracts them. Emotion complicates things. Solitude restores clarity. But this mastery has a shadow, because when control becomes the primary language of survival, vulnerability feels like a threat. This Capricorn may struggle to release control even when it is no longer necessary. They may find it difficult to relax into relationships, to trust processes they are not directing, or to admit uncertainty. In relationships, they are selective to the point of appearing distant. They do not bond easily, but when they do, their loyalty is absolute. They show care through guidance, protection, and strategic support. Love to them is ensuring stability and success, not emotional display. The danger in 2026 for this Capricorn is isolation disguised as independence. They are capable of achieving extraordinary things, but if they reduce life solely to outcomes, they may miss connection softness and shared meaning elements that cannot be engineered. The life lesson for Type 3 Capricorn is uncompromising. Mastery without reflection becomes a prison. Control is powerful, but wisdom knows when to loosen its grip. 2026 asks this Capricorn to recognize that not everything valuable can be optimized. Some things must be experienced without calculation. Some moments require presence instead of planning. If you recognize yourself here, if you are always thinking 3 steps ahead, if silence feels safer than expression, pause for a moment. Comment if you see yourself in this path, because here is the truth that brings all 3 types together. Every Capricorn walks all 3 paths at different points in life, but only one dominates at a time. And understanding which one you are in now changes how you move forward. The question is no longer which type of Capricorn you are, but which path you are being asked to complete. Conclusion. Stand alone. Closing reflection. By now, one truth should be clear. Capricorn is not divided by personality. It is divided by how responsibility is carried. Some Capricorns become strong too early and learn to survive in silence. Some feel an unshakable pressure to turn effort into meaning. Others learn to master systems, time, and outcomes, shaping reality itself. None of these paths are mistakes, and none of them are permanent. Every Capricorn moves through all 3 at different moments in life. But in 2026, one path always stands in the foreground, quietly guiding your decisions, your relationships, and the way you respond to pressure. This is why your birth date matters. Not because it limits you, but because it reveals where your strength first learned to form. The danger for Capricorn has never been weakness. It has always been carrying too much without reflection. In a world that rewards noise, speed, and constant display, Capricorn remains different. You build slowly. You endure quietly. You measure time in decades, not moments. And while others chase recognition, you prepare for permanence. The lesson of 2026 is subtle but powerful. You are not meant to abandon your strength. You are meant to understand it. Because when strength is conscious, it no longer isolates. When discipline is balanced, it no longer exhausts. And when control is paired with wisdom, it becomes legacy. If this video revealed something about the path you're walking right now, take a moment to sit with it. Capricorn transformations do not happen loudly, they happen internally and they last. If you want to continue exploring the deeper truths of Capricorn beyond surface traits, beyond stereotypes, subscribe to the channel. The power of the Zodiac signs. This space exists for those who carry weight in silence and are ready to understand why.